still in the book of of Isaiah, and although it's a large major prophet book, there are 66 chapters. We're only at chapters 36 and 37 today, and so we're slowly working our way through. We're just right in the halfway point, if you will. Nevertheless, it's a really, really interesting section. And so I really want to challenge you to go back and read chapters 35 and 36 and 37 in detail if you've not already done that, because you'll miss a blessing if you don't. In these little short devotions, it's not possible to cover all of the material that's there. Nevertheless, what we have is we have Assyria who is coming against Jerusalem, who has already been devastating the countries around Israel. And we find a character called Sennacherib, and one of his henchmen, which is Rabshakeh. It's Rabshakeh, if you want to pronounce it, Rabshakeh. And he is taunting Hezekiah. And this is all taking place around according to chapters 36. It's all happening around the 14th year of the reign of Hezekiah, which would put it around 701 to 702 BC, 700 years before Christ. And if you read through chapter 36, you really get upset. You can't help but to get upset if you love the Lord, because these two clowns are challenging Hezekiah, but they're more than that. They're challenging God. They're saying, "Look what we've done to the nations around Israel. We're gonna take you, Hezekiah, and your nation just as easily as we took all of these other nations, because your God is no stronger than the other gods of the other countries that we've already taken." And so we have this taunting, if you will, both of Hezekiah, but more importantly, we have the taunting of God by Sennacherib and Rabshakeh. And they're having a good time, really challenging God and talking down at God. Well, we all know what happens when people talk down about God, who doubt his power and his might, and who think that he's just like any other God that may be carved out of wood or hammered out of metal. We have a living God, an all-powerful God. And so as you read and you get annoyed in chapter 36, you're going to love chapter 37, because God lets them go just so far with this taunting, and then he comes back, and he really has something to say about that. We're going to look at those verses today, but first I want you to realize what Hezekiah did. Hezekiah, by the way, was a good king, one of the few good kings in this time frame. And Hezekiah first goes to the Lord. He doesn't panic. He doesn't go to his army. He doesn't throw a temper tantrum. He goes to the Lord. And you'll find that in chapter 37, verse 14. And he did what we all ought to do when we're in trouble. He prayed. Verse 15. And verse 16, he praised God. Never doubted God's goodness, never doubted God's strength and majesty, but he praised God. In verse 17, he just told God like it was. He said, "These are what these clowns are telling me. They're telling me, don't believe you. You can't deliver me." And they're talking down about you. And he doesn't pray on behalf of himself. He says, "God, for your own name, for your own reputation, you need to take care of these clowns." And I think that you'll see that God did exactly that. So I think one of the lessons that we can apply to our own lives here is when we're really confronted with some difficult things, when it seems like the whole world's against us and when it seems like everything's crumbling, we need to take it to the Lord, just as Hezekiah did. We need to pray. We need to praise. We need to trust God and believe God, who he is, and the fact that he is all powerful. And then I want you to see the results as we look at these verses from chapter 37 in the book of Isaiah. Because of your raging against me, and because your arrogance has come unto my ears, therefore I will put my hook in your nose, my bridle in your lips, and I will turn you back by the way which you came. For I will defend the city to save it, for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Then the angel of the Lord went out and struck 185,000 of the camp of the Assyrians. And when the men arose early in the morning, behold, all of these were dead. Don't you just love it? I love it. When you see the arrogance of the Assyrians and these leaders of the Assyrians in chapter 36, and then you see God say, okay, you don't think I'm a powerful God? You don't think I can defend this city better than the wooden gods and the metal gods of the other nations? Then you're going to go out the same way you came in, except I'm going to be leading you with a bridle in your nose and hook in your mouth. I'm gonna take you out. And then what's so wonderful about this section of scripture, he didn't even have to take his remnant of the Israelites and fight against the Assyrians. He sends an angel out. and and I think that's really significant. An angel out. One angel, and he kills 185,000 Assyrians. The Israelites don't even have to pick up a sword. And as God had already prophesied in these two chapters through Isaiah, this leader would run telltale back to his own country, and there he would die by the sword. And that's exactly what you find happens. And it's historically recorded, and we know that God's prophecies are always fulfilled, and God's on his throne. God is all powerful. So when the forces of evil come against you, when things seem to be going against you, when your health is failing, whatever it might be, do exactly what Hezekiah did. Go to the Lord, pray, praise, acknowledge his power and his might, and watch him go to work. That's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.